Hello. I think we should be live. Hello. How is everybody doing? How's life as yours? How's your week been? If you can see by the title, well, you can probably guess how I'm doing. uh, yes, hello. How is things? How is everybody this week? I apologize for not being my usual happy and energetic self, but just not feeling it. So I figure why not be honest. I do have a whole bunch of open source tech lying around me, which is interesting, including what's in that bag, or those 3 bags. That we can look through later. And got my own tool, which is now, for all intents and purposes, done. I mean, okay, when I say done, I mean it is ready to turn into a production tool. I think. I've not tested it yet. I want to test it, but I also don't want to test it. If you've ever done a project, you'll probably know what I mean. I'm 80% of the way there, and the last 20% I just do not want to do. What the hell? Here you go. Here is a badly printed attempt at the tool. Focus. Nope. I hide my face, it might focus. So there is a little dongle that pushes on the load cell. Up. It pushes on the load cell, and as this pushes on the load cell, the wiring which goes into the board detects it. We have a Hall effect sensor on the side, which has is reading the signal of the magnet that is in this linear actuator, and we have a linear actuator. It's all a bit mad right now, but you also have a sliding rail, so you can just undo this and reposition. It's cutting my head. And basically, it's a keyboard and mouse tester. So I've got a little keypad here. You will position it just above, and then basically this will move itself down, move itself back up, and give you latency and force and actuation point data. So yeah, and can do the same for mice as well. So you put a mouse under there instead, and it will do that for the mouse switch. And then you take it off of that, you put it in its front, put a mouse in front of it, and it will move the mouse and give you sensor latency and accuracy data. Oh, yeah. Hello, Tammy. How you doing? How's things? Good to have you. You woke up just in time. Well, thank you very much. It's what isn't it pretty late, early, late for you over there. So yeah, I appreciate you joining. Hello, Simon. It's pretty early for you. 12:30. That's less of a time difference than I thought. Actually, it's 8 p.m. UK time here, so this is a surprise. But yes, hello. How is everybody doing? As the title suggests, I'm in pain. Um, so yeah, doing great. Um, 5 a.m. here. That couldn't be me. Hello, John. How you doing? How's things? How have I been? Well, if you saw the title on YouTube, you'd probably know. Not amazing right now. Um, where are you flying to? Where are you off to? And is it with the missus? Would you like to see what's in the box? This is hold on. Let me. Oh, I can't check my emails. Hold on. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Damn um his product name doesn't come up if you Google it. That's great. Oh right, okay. You're waiting for guests. Got you. BA 3+ hours late. Imagine that. I mean, I don't fly certainly very often anymore, so I couldn't tell you the effectiveness of or the timeliness of any of the airlines really, but I'm sure you have plenty of experience. My neck slash spine slash arm pain has been bad for a few weeks. Can sympathize. There. What's hurting you? All over, but my back and my hips and my knees and my shoulders. There we go. Loud motorcycles going by. And kind of my fingers too. So yeah, it's great. I've taken some painkillers. They should probably be sort of helping real soon. Um, but yeah, I had another. I've been referred to 3 different physios within the NHS. I've only actually ended up going to one of them, the first one. But I had an appointment with second one last earlier this week, and it was worse than useless. um, yeah, worse than useless. It was. God, I don't even know how to describe. She just talked for a full hour, basically. I think I spoke for no more than 1 minute for the full hour. She spoke for the other 59 minutes. Like, um, yeah, and she went from exercise is the only solution to mindfulness is the only solution. Exercise doesn't matter. To well, I don't know then. Um, it, so yeah, uh, um, yeah. I am going drifting this weekend though, which I'm very much looking forward to. I have to do a whole bunch of maintenance on friends' cars and stuff, um, friends and families' cars the day before on Saturday. Like we're driving down, like doing a whole bunch of maintenance, and then going drifting, and then coming home again. Uh, so yeah, that will be interesting. That'll be fun. But yeah, we're I'm going drifting, going well in my case all-wheel drive drifting, which I think will be pretty interesting to see how that goes. I have not intentionally drifted my car yet, so this should be pretty fun. It's on a big skid pan. Yeah. I have a sore throat, can't speak much. Tired of typing things out to communicate. I enjoyed riding my bike in the rain a little too much. Fair enough. I hope that improves for you. Oh yeah. What I was going to show you was a package that I got today, which is this is the shell for a custom. I can't remember if it's open source or not. I think it is. But anyway, mouse. It's a mouse. In fact, if I show you the these are like prototypes, but this is the mouse. It looks really cool. I haven't I literally got it this morning. Haven't tried it yet. But that is a mouse, and this for me this is the coolest bit. It's a T-shaped PCB. So you have the sensor there, and then the microcontroller is just on the other side of it. You might be able to see through the case there. You've got the switches. It is a I think fingertip grip mouse, but yeah, even has a little scroll wheel. Does it have a middle click? Yeah, really cool. And I believe I'm talking to its creator tomorrow. That'll be interesting. And yeah, he sent over a whole bunch of like prototypes. Yeah. So you shall see a video on that in the not too distant future, hopefully. Hate updates and ads. Physios aren't the best. I see osteos instead. Well, I tried them too. They mostly just gave me some massages, but didn't really do much for anything else. So yeah. I think it's open source. Is that the same design from the Optimum Tech video? Quite possibly. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah. It's rigid mouse. Whether or not you will be able to find that link. I tried to Google rigid mouse, and a lot of Logitech stuff came up. It's after the people who brought you the Ridge wallet. No, funnily enough, it is an indie hardware maker. Yeah. Hello, Jim. How you doing, man? How's things? How has your week been? No. I was trying to think of. Oh right, that's I was trying to think of what I spent all of today doing, and I just couldn't. The joys of ADHD is your brain doesn't work. I spent all of today benchmarking AMD's 9060 XT and AMD's 9060 XT. Specifically the 8 and 16 gig versions, because I am doing a video comparing the two, which will be both the performance and the VRAM utilization. So yeah, I spent a lot of time benchmarking and then processing the data, because despite having written a custom bit of software that imports files like from games built in benchmarks and from present mons like output files to then process them and then give me them in a usable format. I haven't done that for hardware info VRAM utilization. So yeah. Any idea about handwriting to text AI models? I came across it in one of the discords, but discords suck. I want forums back. Do you know, I kind of agree with you on that. Yeah. Any idea on handwriting to text to AI models? I have not done that. It is a form of computer vision and I guess optical character recognition AI models, which I think are one of the first, and so are one of the most like understood and improved, effective. One or all of the above. Yeah, they can be pretty good. So yeah, I don't have any experience, especially running it locally. But I'm sure that there is something like there is a relatively easy to use open source tool available that will let you do it. Probably made with what's text generation web UI and automatic 1111 stable diffusion UI made from. I don't remember, but I'm sure that there'll be one of those, but for OCR and like handwriting recognition. I'm sure there is. Someone will have made it. For sure. This is something that I will probably end up discussing throughout the video. Like, I need to write the scripts and film it and edit it tomorrow, but from thinking about the VRAM usage, so I tested Helldivers 2, Cyberpunk, Starfield, CS2, Siege, what else? And Hitman 3, I think that's it. And basically there were only like 2 games that got to the 8 gig limit on what I would consider the sort of settings you would want to play on, especially on those cards, at 4K only. Neither actually exceeded 8 gigabytes of usage, which I found kind of interesting. But the thing for me is that, like, if I have a look at data, I have like 12 Excel spreadsheets open. I'll stick it up there. So zoom in a bit so I can actually see it. Yeah, Hitman 3 as an example hit 7.8 and 7.9 gigabytes of VRAM usage, like D3D VRAM usage, at 4K on medium settings. CS2 actually got remarkably high at 7 gig at 4K, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider got up to peaked at just shy of 8 gig at 4K. But the thing is that if you look at Hitman as an example, the actual FPS data for Hitman, a bit more slowly and moving, is 24 FPS average. That's not a VRAM problem. That is a GPU core problem. And that's on medium settings. Like, sure, if you bumped it up to high or ultra or whatever, you'd probably make use of that 16 gigs of VRAM. And the 8 gig might actually hurt the performance. But if you're only getting 24 FPS anyway, does it matter? What was the other game? Cyberpunk? Don't remind me. No. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you do at 4K, you still get 81, 82-ish FPS. And so maybe you could run it. So that was at high as well. So you could run at highest to get better visual quality and drop the performance. But yeah. But like, yeah, when we're talking about like 8 gigs on, if 8 gigs on like a 70 class card as an example, like isn't the 4070 and Ti and or Super like 8 gigs? Talking about those sorts of cards, like, yeah, okay, that's probably a limitation because the graphics core is fast enough to keep up with the need for more VRAM. And obviously, as things progress, we tend to just require more VRAM anyway. But like, for like this 9060 XT, this is a 1080p, 1440p ish card. It's not a 4K card, and at 1080p and 1440p, the highest I got was 7 gig in Shadow of the Tomb Raider on high settings. So you've still got a gig clear at 1440p. And I'm not saying you shouldn't buy the 16 gig card. I would buy the 16 gig card, just to be clear. But also, we're not quite there yet in terms of use, like VRAM usage. Although saying that, the lowest result I got was still 4 gigabytes of VRAM at 1080p on medium settings at Siege. So like, not impressive. You need a 6 gig is gonna hurt you now. And 8 gig is close to hurting you. But we're not there yet. Last of Us and one of the Spider-Man games will give you good results for comparing 8 to 16 gig cards. Might be the Spider-Man 2 port. Reddit says it's bad. 4 gig of VRAM feels like Steam Deck optimized. Well, it's just because Siege is like kind of low spec esports title that's been out for a decade. So yeah. And when you say we'll give you good results for comparing 8 to 16 gig cards, I think that's kind of my point, is that unless you go hunting for the terrible gate, like the terrible unoptimized games, at reasonable settings, it's not as dire as it perhaps seems right now. That's not to say that I wouldn't buy the 16 gig card. Like I said, I would. But not quite there yet for what I would call usable settings. Oh, my back. Well, can't say you're not aware of what you're getting yourself into for this stream. I'm happy Steam introduced the overlay that shows generated frames. I am too, although I've not used it. Especially because I don't use any frame generation. Like I in the games that support it, I will inevitably use DLSS or FSR. But yeah, that is technically generated upscaled part of frame. But yes. Yeah. What I was saying was I don't use frame generation, even though I have a 40 series card now. So in principle, I don't like it, and I don't play many games. I've been playing Worms WMD, if that counts. But otherwise, no, I don't play many games. I think I showed you these before, but these are my new testing tool PCBs. I'm quite pleased with them. So it's the same microcontroller as the latency tool. This over here, in fact, that tiny little, what's marked as U7 is a motor controller. It's like a 1.2 amp motor controller as well. It's insane for being that tiny. So yeah, that is all motor control stuff. That's a 9-volt regulator, so it takes the 5 volts from USB and pumps it up to 9.75 volts for the motor. It's technically a 12-volt motor, but I kind of under crank it a bit to get a better balance of voltage here and whatnot, and not so much current specs and stuff. This is a load cell amplifier that works. Actually, I haven't tested it, but should work fine. This is a flash chip to store the calibration data, and this is an op amp for the Hall effect sensor that goes here. And these up here are the programming pins for the microcontroller. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. There's a whole bunch of right angle headers that go on here and there and there. And yeah, it's the open source peripheral testing tool. So yeah. Hello Ish, how you doing man, how's things? And thank you Jim. I don't like upscaling, I use direct. I'm either running a 3080 or 4080 type cards on my rig, so I mainly use ray tracing at 1440, so it runs nice. Fair enough. Some assembly required, indeed. Well, I mean, this is what the assembly makes. So you have the load cell at the bottom, so that this goes presses down. In fact, here's the little key switch tester. This presses down on the key switch, and this registers the force that key switch imparts. Yes, it's printed on the wonk. That will be fixed. But yeah, it measures the force as this motor pushes it down, and then I have a Hall effect sensor in there that is measuring the distance that the magnet that's inside here is from it to give me accurate position feedback. And then yeah, there's still a few sort of kinks to work out with. Was that wire broken off? It has. Well, like I said, there are a few kinks to work out, and a few wires to resolder, and then I'll be good to to go, hopefully. And yeah, it can move up and down on that stand, so that you can fit it over any keyboards or mice or whatever that you're working on. I'm okay. I've been working outside, and I think I'm running out of week at a rapid clip. Fair enough. Hope you've enjoyed the outdoor activity. Yeah. I've actually been busy doing circuit board design for someone else, as a sort of contractor, which is really quite fun, because it's designing something for someone else, which kind of makes you feel clever, because you're taking someone's concept and you're making it a reality. And then the nice bit is that you can then sort of just hand it back to them when you're done, rather than what I do, which ends up being, a lot more work afterwards. And yeah, it's kind of fun to say that I have begun contracting as an electrical engineer by accident. Much like computing, no qualifications beyond just having done it quite a few times successfully. But yeah, it's been good fun to do, actually. Yeah. So yeah, that 9060 XTs double testing. I just got these cool new, I think, open source mice to test. Yeah. What's the pain you referred to in the title? Hashtag damage report. I'm just currently in a lot of pain. My back hurts, like basically every joint hurts. My shoulders, my elbows, my entire spine, my hips, my knees, my ankles, my fingers. It all just kind of hurts. The painkillers that I took earlier are helping a bit, but not fully. And so yeah. I'm a little worn down by it. I've been in a lot of pain today, and the fact that I've been sat just benchmarking and then staring at spreadsheets, I think has driven me a bit mad, and I'm quite grumpy. So also, contracting skills is pretty cool. Maybe do a side gig as an AC engineer one day, because you have loads of time making 4 videos a week, etc. Yeah, well, it's technically 3 if you include the live streams, so yeah. Although I did do 4 last week with the wheel video, but anyway, yeah. I mean, again, I do want to, well, not as a side gig. I want to just do it for myself and have the ability to do it like for friends and stuff. Friends and neighbors and things. But yeah. Is this the year of the OLED? Seen a 4K 240 hertz for £700 at Very and Curry's recently. Well, AOC's OLEDs are ridiculously cheap. The monitor that I use, the 3440 by 1440 QD OLED 175 hertz, is somewhere between £500 and £700 depending when you look. AOC's new generation WOLED panel, which is a lot better, that is like £500. And I think they have a 4K one for somewhat similar money. So yeah, I mean, for what a couple of years ago was a good IPS 1440p 240 hertz monitor, you can now get a QD or WOLED version for the same sort of money. So yeah, apparently, according to AOC and Philips, they're I think late this year and early next year is going to be a whole bunch of VA panels, because it kind of goes in cycles where the panel manufacturers uh like work real hard to create you know the fanciest IPS panel, and then the competitors all do the same thing, and then they go, well, we've now done IPS, so let's go back to VA, and then they do a whole bunch of fancy VA panels, and so it just kind of like cycles. So apparently, like, we're the next crop of monitors will all be VAs, and then probably the crop after that will be IPSs, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah. But OLEDs have come down a lot in price, and I'm all for it. I use an OLED as my primary monitor, and I don't know that I would want to use anything else now. It is a phenomenal experience. Sick and tired, feeling sick of sick and tired. Wow, hurt and tired. Yeah, pretty much. I'm also desperately trying to lose weight, but the more sick and tired I get, the harder it is to not comfort eat. Luckily, I've cleared out a whole bunch of space down there, although it doesn't look like it because most of the stuff that was there is now just under the desk. But anyway, because I bought one of those, like, it's basically just a treadmill, but it doesn't have the whole stand thing. It's a walking pad, and so because I both for ADHD and for just trying to lose weight, I cannot sit still, and I need like regular. I have regular bursts of energy that I often don't know how to get rid of it, and so having a treadmill that I can just start using, maybe laptop on the desk so I can be like working while I'm walking, stuff like that. You know, that'd be fun. Um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should have been here today, but Amazon Prime did me dirty, so it'll be here tomorrow. Uh, at least I've got the electric drum kit. That definitely helps with getting some energy out. Yeah. It's also a bit of again, I've referenced ADHD a lot, but it's also a very potent lived experience for me. You go in cycles with like uh getting uh projects and hobbies and things, and then sort of getting burned out with them, and then just never touching them again, but feeling bad that you haven't used them. Um, so yeah, at least I tend to be fairly good at going back to stuff. Like I play both guitar and drums, and I do just kind of cycle between them. Um, so yeah. I mean, to be fair, I didn't purchase it as a business expense, but if I do, you know, make a video on it, maybe I can expense it. Didn't think of that one, yeah. Uh, it's actually remarkably cheap for say jump. There we go, they're far enough away. Loud motorcycles is what I was miming there. It was £110, which is obviously a decent amount of money, but for basically an entire treadmill. Uh, I did find it very funny because the listing has one of the images on the Amazon listing says uh, powerful 2 horsepower motor, and you're like, okay, cool, and then immediately under it says max power 480 watts. For those that don't know, the conversion from watts to horsepower is not 4 to 1. It's like 1.3 or something. I mean, hold on. Yeah, kilowatts. Sorry, to horsepower. Um, Yeah, 1.34. So as an example, my car has 330 horsepower or 234 kilowatts, I think. So yeah, the fact that this said powerful 2 horsepower motor, well, that would mean that it needs to be a 1.5 kilowatt motor. So the fact that it's 0.5 kilowatts means that it's like 0.7 or 8. Should I go for IEMs or are my AirPods Pro fine? Well, it's very much up to you. IEMs, depending on how much you want to spend on them and how much you want to get them, you know, that if you're getting like custom IEMs, hell yeah, they're sick. If you're going with sort of just standard in-ears, then it's entirely up to you. I've never used AirPods. I've never owned an Apple device. Yeah, no. I've used some Apple devices, but never owned one. And so yeah, I couldn't tell you. It also very much depends on what IEMs, but yeah. Unfortunately, without more information, that is the only answer I can give is up to you. Also, like if you're essentially upgrading from the AirPods Pro, like you say my AirPods Pro, which implies you already have them, again, depends what you want to use them for. The AirPods Pro are likely a smoother experience to use, assuming you have an iPhone anyway. So yeah. Unfortunately for the sound of this, getting rather warm, so I'm gonna have to put the air conditioner on. I'll put it on fan, which does mean that there's a lot less drone, but also I'm sorry for the noise, but I'm dying here, and this little fan ain't really doing much. Are AirPods not a type of IEM? Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, is that like AirPods are in-ear monitors. IEMs, like when people say IEMs, they tend to mean a fancier class of in-ears than like TWS buds, which are what AirPods and AirPods Pros are. Yeah, but here's some AirBuds I use. This isn't Beats. This is Anchor Soundcore P40 or something. The box is there, but yeah, these are what I use at the moment. I bought them on Amazon for like 20 quid, and they're decent enough. I meant to make a review of them, and then I forgot all about it. There you go. See, Soundcore. If it would focus. Soundcore P40i. There you go. See, it's at the top. Yeah, it even has a little phone stand built in. You just like flick it up, and then it acts as a little stand for your phone. Yeah. These actually work a lot like AirPods do. Like these connect as a whole device, like automatically. Like it just shows up. You know, do you want to pair with these rather than having to go into Bluetooth and pair with them, which is pretty nice. And it shows up like as soon as you connect them, it shows you the battery life of the case and each bud, or at least each active bud, like automatically. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I was thinking to buy wired IEMs for PC and Android. Fair enough. Well, I mean, again, it very much depends on your budget, audio preferences. I would imagine that especially for like connecting to PC and Android, it might be a little inconvenient to do AirPods. Like I don't know what the pairing mode and stuff is. Yeah. I have the Anker Soundcore A1 myself and found them grand. Nice. That is a very interesting question that I can't tell on what level of satire it is. But yeah, VLANs won't help you, bro. VLANs are an internal network, like segregation. So I assume you mean VPN. In which case, yeah, they want you, yeah, they can have you. Yeah, that's why I said it's hard to tell exactly where on the troll spectrum it is. It's somewhere on there for sure, but how far? Hard to say from the internet. Well, technically speaking, a VPN is the better the solution for that. In fact, there are 2 affiliate links in the description. But yeah, yeah, VPNs technically. Yeah, Tor. I mean, Tor still goes through your ISP to get to an entrance and exit node. So you'd want a VPN to the Tor node. Although a lot of the Tor network is run by government agencies. So yeah, you'd struggle there. And yes, also the Tor network is only for onion websites. You don't route your standard HTTPS traffic. And also, if you're using HTTPS, then even if the traffic is sent, they can only see the metadata, which it is that can still be useful, but is not the content of the data, message, whatever. I got to do a whole bunch of car maintenance this weekend before I do my drifting day at the skid pan. Although I'm looking forward to it, it's an all-wheel drive car, so it's going to be very interesting trying to drift it. By default, it's 60-40 rear to front, so 60% of the power goes to the back, 40 to the front, which makes it quite sporty and quite fun, but also it it does mean that if you try and drift, while the back end might be able to you might still be able to power slide the back out, the front end will get the grip and will just pull you out of it. So you kind of need to just all-wheel drift it. So yeah, I'm gonna be very interested to see how it goes. Um, yeah. Also, I'm bringing 3 other friends along with me, and 2 of them are in front-wheel drive cars, and one of them is in the only acceptable drift car, which is a rear-wheel drive BMW. However, however, it's a diesel 5 Series automatic. These are not the appropriate cars to be doing drifting in. But we're gonna get a go anyway. It wasn't that expensive and should be a lot of fun. So yeah. Uh, I think we've been booked right at the end of the day as well, which I think means that we might get a little bit of extra time with all 4 of us on it, which should be good fun. Um, just having a coffee is a requirement before 7 a.m. Fair play, Simon. Never actually considered where onion sites are hosted. I presumed on cloud servers with like fake IDs and such. Uh, I mean, I'm sure some of them are. I think many of them are essentially self-hosted, especially with the like hosting sites that you can pay in crypto. Uh, but yeah, the idea of a dark web is just it's a .onion site that is not searchable on like Google or Bing. I mean, nothing is searchable on Bing because they just use Google, but well, they used to. They were caught doing that. That was funny. Anyway, uh, so yeah, there isn't really a dark web. It's just off to the side web. Like, there's no search engine for onion sites. You just need to know where to go or where to find the wiki for the sites are. So yeah. I decided to brew some ginger lemon tea. What are we discussing? A variety of things as usual. At least you didn't ban me for a playful troll. That's better than a lot of channels. I even got some solid advice. Well, have fun. If you've seen the title of the stream, I'm too tired. I don't give a any recommendations for a 10-inch tablet? Budget around 150 euro. Oh god. I mean, off the top of my head, tablets and phones are something that I have not had a legitimate interest in a while. As I was saying in the Discord earlier this week, actually, since buying my 7C Pro like 5 years ago, besides potentially doing a battery replacement at some point this year, maybe, I don't know. I was planning on doing a battery replacement last year, and then the thing just carried on doing fine, so who cares? But yeah, besides doing a battery replacement, I don't need a new phone anytime soon. This is perfectly fine. Maybe once it gets too out of sync with Android updates, it might be worth it, but that's still a year to 3 away. So yeah, and so yeah, I've just not really been that interested, I'm afraid. And so advice, especially in what sounds like a pretty budget range, I'm really gonna struggle to give you much advice there. Sorry. And thank you very much. And I wish I could. Fortunately, this is probably lifelong. I tried to book a doctor's appointment. Now, if you're not from the UK, which I think there's only like 1 or 2 people from the UK that I see in the chat right now, we have an absolutely wonderful service called the NHS, National Health Service. It is fantastic. It means that we do not pay any amount of money for healthcare, besides like hospital parking and prescription costs. Basically everything else, like, you don't pay anything at all for a doctor's appointment, for open heart surgery. Everything's on the house, right? You pay for it in taxes, but it works out pretty well because everyone pays in, and then, you know, you don't have a profiteering middleman and insurance company that then creates a horrible cyclical system. Anyway, so it's wonderful. The problem is, it's been underfunded for 50 years. Has some chronic issues, just like me actually. And so there are a few intricacies. One of the intricacies is if you want a GP appointment, like a standard, just you want to talk to your local doctor, which is also the gateway to like all other healthcare except for emergency healthcare. Like if you break your arm, you go to A&E, right? Accident and emergency. But if you've got, I don't know, chronic pain, you go to your GP and then they refer you out. So you have to get a GP appointment to do basically anything. And like even when you do go to see the specialist then writes to your GP to tell you, hey, this is what they have and this is what you should give them. And then you have to book another appointment with a GP to get that drug. And so that's what I tried to do. I've got a letter from a specialist that asks them to give me a specific type of painkiller that might help me, you know, not hate life. And so I tried to book an appointment, and the other key thing you need to understand is that the appointments are very highly sought after, and so they don't let you book very far in advance. And the new appointment slots are released at 8 a.m. on Monday, and well, 8 a.m. each day in the morning. And so you have to either call or just physically go to your GP surgery to book an appointment at 8 a.m. So I went 8 a.m. on Monday, and I was basically immediately told to sod off because the person who does the like scheduling of the doctors has been off for a couple of weeks and they've just not done it, so there's no new appointments available. So I just get to be in pain for another week or three until the surgery actually schedules some doctors to work, and then I can get some appointments. Yay. So yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. We pay for the NHS via income taxes. Yes, true. I guess, yeah, our honey is kept next to our peanut butter. We don't have Marmite. But yes. All I know is I bought an iPhone 12 mini 4 years ago and looking to upgrade now. They start at $1,400 for 128 gig. So too much for a stupid phone. Yeah, fair enough. Mine is, I want to say 256 gig, and in fact, I can tell you how much space I have left. 51 gigabytes of that space is currently free. A lot of that is probably pictures that I should just delete. I think I did also go for I use a file manager app to be able to not only access local files but network drives and stuff, which is really useful for when like I film something or record my screen for a video and then I need to be able to get that video to my NAS to edit from. I can do that directly from here, real handy. But I was looking through all of the what data is being used here, and there is an awful lot of stuff that I don't have access to that's using up that space. Is this the one that has the no, oh yeah, disk map. What's the disk map? So much like WinDIR stat, it calculates all of the like usage like of your phone. So I have 60 gigabytes of pictures. That's basically it. There's a little bit of other stuff, but that is all. Yeah, it's really cool app. Highly recommend it. Now imagine paying a similar or more amount of direct and indirect taxes, but all you get is a giant FU. Yeah, describes India very well. So most people just self-medicate or rely on the pharmacy contact. I have heard similar from actually a number of places, but yeah. As much as the NHS is really has been struggling for my entire life, I am so amazingly glad that we have it. I go to the specialist and get a script from them. Sometimes I do, sometimes don't. It depends on what the like. So this specialist was a rheumatologist who discharged me, so there's no point in her giving me a prescription, like a repeat prescription for something that I like. I'm not under her care anymore. So that's why they send it to the GP, because then I'm permanently under the care of the GP. But like I'm starting at-home injections for my immunosuppressants next month, and that is handled by the hospital, like the specialist, the inflammatory bowel disease team, because I'm staying under their care basically for as long as I live here, I think. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna go like, lie down and hopefully be in a bit less pain. So I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. And yeah, I'll see you all next week.